So what do you do about a problem like Cristiano Ronaldo, hell-bent on creating a goal-scoring record against you? Stephen Ward, good morning to you. Oh, we got him in just 1 second. That is the question that we're going to ask him. And we're asking you this evening. What do you do? Do you kick him early? Do you kick him often? That was interesting from Stephen Hunt earlier in the week, saying he regretted not kicking Ronaldo when he was younger. I mean, there was definitely a lot of people on Twitter saying that, well, maybe he's just a bit too big for you. Stephen Ward, good morning to you. How are you?
Morning, lads. How you doing?
What do you do about a problem like Ronaldo? Because you can't kick him. He kind of seems to thrive on that. I don't know. Like, how do we fix this tonight?
It's a very difficult question, isn't it? Listen, I think many teams have tried before to stop him, and it seems the impossible task. But listen, you just got to get as many players around him and try stop him as best you can. He's got to have moments in the game, but you just hope that they're not ones that are, detrimental to the scoreline or detrimental to your team's performance. So it'll be tough, but I'm sure the boys are looking forward to the challenge of it.
What are these games like when you are massive underdogs and you know that the quality of the team that you're up against is world class? How do you prepare as a group for a challenge like that, where you are definitely coming up against a team who you know are technically better than you, but at the same time, at the start of the game, the ball is round and it's 0-0?
Listen, I think first and foremost they'll show Portugal respect in terms of their preparation. They'll know how good of a team they are. I'm sure Stephen and the staff will have a game plan, to try stop some of their attacking threat. But I think at the end of the day, when you go into these games, as much as there is pressure, in a strange way, there's not as much pressure as playing a sort of similar size country or similar size team, because not many people in the outside will expect Ireland to get a result tonight. Mostly it'll be, the Irish fans and the players and staff themselves. And I think if you look back over the years, what a lot of teams, a lot of the Irish teams I was in, we took inspiration off the major results that we've picked up throughout the years as underdogs. We're renowned for doing it. And that's one of the inspirations we definitely took when we look back at other teams that have picked up massive results against these kind of nations. So, hopefully these boys are doing that, and hopefully it can be one of them nights.
What sort of inspiration are you taking from those teams? Are you watching like their games back in the week of a game?
No, I think it's just memories, and
right.
People and players, and when you're away in a hotel together, you end up talking about all sorts of stuff, and these kind of memories that you remember watching, Ireland pick up results against, like I said, Portugal back in the day, Holland, Germany, these kinds of games, and you just hope that you're within that squad. You just hope that it's your night and you can do the same, and I'm sure that's what the lads will do. And I think first and foremost, as a footballer, you go into every game with belief that you can get a result, no matter who you're playing against, and that'll be the case tonight.
You played in the Russia game, right?
Yeah, I did.
Well,
the 0-0.
Yeah. So is that your first away game? First competitive away game?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
The stereotypical baptism of fire, because they were a brilliant team and they kind of killed us on the night, but we still managed to get a 0-0 draw, and we all obviously remember Richard Dunn and the fake number on the back. What's your recollection about the build-up to that game and the game itself? What do you remember?
It's a good question. To be honest, the build-up to most games it's pretty much the same in terms of training, how you prepare yourself. I think for me, it was because it was quite early in my international career. I was just excited about being in the squad and just taking everything in. So, like you said, it was a tough night for us. We had, thankfully, had Richard Dunn at the back. It was unbelievable, and helped us. I think Shea Given made some great saves as well, and I think down to them two really, and a little bit of help from the rest of us, we ended up getting a result. But it's definitely an experience to learn from, and that'll be the case tonight. I think, obviously, the game where we drew in Germany when John O'Shea scored last minute as well, that's a tough night. And, we seem to pick up these results, and that's the one thing I'll be hoping the boys can do tonight, because no matter how the game goes, you can always be in the game till the last minute. So, hopefully they can have one of them memorable evenings this evening.
Are you noticing a new steeliness about this Ireland team potentially? I know we're judging things largely on those 3 friendlies during the summer that have clearly been the most positive part of the Stephen Kenny reign so far, but did you notice any trends there that would suggest that this Ireland team can do a really good backs to the wall job?
Listen, I think at the minute, it's especially during the games in the summer, you start to see a bit more of confidence growing in the players. I think that first win is going to be massive. They looked like once they got the lead in them games, they were able to hold on to it. They were able to keep pushing for more, even after a couple of setbacks. So yeah, listen, it won't have been easy. They'll have wanted to get a win for the manager, very early in his tenure, but it wasn't to be. Thankfully, they've got it now, and I think this international break this week will be one where they really want to push on. They want to show that they're moving forward as a team, and obviously it starts with a really tough game tonight. But hopefully, if they can get hopefully have one of them nights where they get a result, or they put in a really good performance, it can push them on into next week. There's 2 home games coming up where they'll want to do well, and it could be a completely different picture looking at the international team, come next Tuesday evening.
It was interesting, maybe at the very start of the Kenny era, Stephen, we were chatting about Matt Doherty and Seamus Coleman, and there was I think it was Kevin Kilbane making the point that you've got to factor in Shane Duffy's performances when you're judging anybody who's playing at wing back, anybody who's beside a centre back who may be struggling here and there. So as a wing back, if you're James McLean or Seamus Coleman tonight, who were suspected to start left and right wing back respectively, how big a deal is it for them that they can look around and they see a Shane Duffy who is in a much better place now than he was for Ireland's last competitive game?
Oh, yeah, listen, it's great to see Big Duffy back doing what he does best, and I don't think anyone had any doubt that he would get back. He had a tough time and a tough year, personally, and sometimes that can affect your football. And, people sometimes don't realise that it's not as easy as just going out there and putting on a shirt and performing every week. No one can always know what's going on in the background. So, listen, he admitted himself he had a bit of a difficult time. I think some of his performances were maybe overanalyzed because of how good he usually is. That's probably, I wouldn't say going against him, but because he's been so good for years, I think, once he has a small drop-off, it was analysed maybe more than needed maybe. But like I said, listen, it's great to see him back. He's had a great start to the season. It's great to see, Brighton show that faith in him, give him that chance again, and he's repaid them in bucket loads this season so far. So, he'll be a massive plus for us tonight, and I'm sure, everyone loves him as a character. Everyone will be delighted to see him score his goal the other week, and I'm sure that would be a big lift, as soon as he came into the squad this week.
Is McLean your choice at left wing back, given Stevens is out?
For me, yeah, I've seen James play there on numerous occasions, and I know his energy and his will and desire. I think, especially in games like this, James could be massive for us tonight. So, yeah, for me, I think it's a no-brainer to play James there, especially if he goes with the wing-backs, yeah.
That's the other question. Fundamentally, we have, when everybody's fit, a good bit of strength and depth at centre back, and we definitely have players who can adapt to the wing backs in the wide positions. Is this the right thing for us at the moment to play this style?
Listen, I think it suits us at the minute. Yeah, I do. Especially in a game like this tonight. Stephen may decide to play 4 at the back when we're maybe playing home games against maybe different countries or different teams. But I think away from home tonight, I think this formation, especially playing against it can give a team real solid base at the back, and it also gives you options going forward, because when I've played against a team that plays 3 at the back and plays it well, there's a lot of options for them on the ball, and you also have you can also get 2 players up the pitch, which is massive nowadays. Sometimes if you're playing with wingers and just one centre forward, the wingers can get pinned back, and it's a very long way to get up to support one centre forward. So, if he does go with the wing backs and we have two or three up the top of the pitch, it gives us a chance to get out and get a foothold in the game.
And we are definitely going to need some pressure being relieved tonight. So what's the best duo up front? Like Troy Parrott, obviously a bit of a difficult start, then comes good and is actually scoring goals at the moment, albeit in a slightly lower setting than where Aaron Connolly and Adam Ida aren't actually getting games. What do? Do you go with the striker who's actually scoring, even though he's younger and doesn't have the experience of the others yet? Or do you try and go back to the other two and hope that the fact that they're training at a slightly higher level and they're operating at a higher level, and the competition they have on a daily basis is slightly higher than where Troy Parrott is at the moment?
It's a difficult one, to be honest, and I think Stephen will probably look at certain factors in terms of what kind of duo you want to play. Does he want, a bit of a presence up there? Does he want pace? There's all sort of factors you look at. For me at the minute, obviously I see a lot of things said about, some players may not have been playing for their club, but I feel like this international break is not so much an issue in terms of minutes because, especially this year, everyone's had a bit more normality back to pre-season. They'll have all had 6 weeks. Most players get plenty of minutes in pre-season. Everyone will have played in at least a cup game or some sort of game. So, for me, I think everyone should be quite fresh. I don't think whether, who's playing or not playing at the minute will be a real factor. I think that more comes into consideration when you look at the October and November and you're sort of, 8, 9, 10 games into a season. I think at the minute most lads will have had a lot of minutes throughout pre-season. So I think it'll just depend on what Duo Stephen wants in terms of what attributes of a centre forward or will work best to his game plan. And I know how meticulous he is and how meticulous his staff are. So I'm sure they will have come up with a game plan and they will put the right pieces in the puzzle for, hopefully what will be a big performance from the lads.
Jared started this off by asking, how do you solve a problem like Ronaldo? That was a question you probably asked yourself in 2014, the last meeting, which is printed here in the paper this morning, yourself against Portugal in New York. It wasn't a great result for you on the night, Stephen, but how big a conversation was it about stopping Ronaldo and playing against Ronaldo that night?
Yeah, I think it was a difficult night for us. I think we were both in different stages. I think we were playing the last game of our tour after a long season, and I think they were preparing to go to a World Cup. So, it was or a Euros. I think it was. Was it a Euros or a World Cup?
World Cup, but Brazil, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, you say it was Brazil. Yeah. So listen. Like I said, many have tried and many have failed in terms of setting up or preparing to play against them. I think first and foremost tonight the lads have got to, they understand how good he is. They'll all be relishing playing against him. I think, not many players will have had the chance to play against him in their career, and you want to play and test yourself against these kind of players. And I think tonight what's most important is the team as a game plan for itself, because I think Stephen said in his press conference, we can't go there and just sit back, because if you give a team with that quality the ball for 90 minutes, they'll eventually weigh you down, especially with players like Ronaldo. If you give him too many chances, he's bound to take one. So I think for us as a team, we've got to, do our best to get a foothold in the game, get a bit of an attacking threat ourselves, and hopefully keep them on the back foot. And all you can do really is if you can be in the game, keep his influence to a minimal. Try get bodies around him and hope for the best, I think.
And the problem is that he's actually not even their best player really anymore. He's obviously incredibly effective still at his age, but the rest of the team is also amazing.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's not their best player anymore. When you see what he was doing last year with Juventus, he's still not bad. But yeah, listen, you're bang on. You're right. They've got an unbelievable squad now, and the players they have coming through. So listen, I've been there as a player. These games, you're up against it. The lads know there's going to be periods where they're up against it. But like I said, as a nation, as a team, as a country, we've pulled off some unbelievable results during the years, and we might be under the caution a lot of games, but somehow we've nicked a result here and there, and you're just hoping that it can be one of them nights early in the season. Portugal's first game since the Euros. You hope we can maybe go there. They might have a bit of an off day, and we just perform really resolutely and take the game to them. Listen, you never know. Football surprises you a lot of the time, so I'm hoping the boys have a special night tonight.
It looks like it's Gavin Bazzunu's number one jersey for the foreseeable future, given that he is playing football at the moment, albeit on loan. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. But from a defender's perspective, how important is it to have a kind of definite starter in goals who is playing well? Like, he's progressing really quickly at this stage, even though he is very young.
Yeah, obviously. Listen, I think Randolph's going to be a big loss for us tonight. Obviously Gavin's a fantastic goalie, but I think Randolph's sort of been, a stalwart there for the last, 3 or 4 years, and I think everyone was always used to playing him. Everyone knew he was the goalie. Unfortunately, he's not playing at his club at the minute, and Gavin will obviously get his chance, and I'm sure he'll take it. But yeah, listen, it is massive. I think Darren's obviously been there, seen it all, but I think with a lot of this squad, I think it's it's that you're starting to see a new squad and a new sort of breed of player coming through. So it'll be great for him, great for all these young lads to experience a game like this tonight, regardless of what happens. And it can only make the team stronger for, future games, future qualifying campaigns. And there's always sort of a change in the tide, and it's Gavin's opportunity tonight, and I'm sure he'll take it with both hands. He's a fantastic goalie. I've played against him before when he was on loan last year at Rochdale, and he was unbelievable in the game when we played him down at Ipswich. So, I really hope it goes well for him tonight as well.
Were you surprised then that Randolph didn't make the squad and isn't in the team?
Yeah, I was surprised. Of course I was. He's been the first name in the team sheet for a long time. So, listen, it was a surprise not to see him in the squad, and obviously, I'm sure he'll be looking to get back playing as quick as he can, or get back playing some sort of football to make sure he gets back in the squad, because he's still got plenty left in him as a goalie, But like I said, it's unfortunate he's not playing. Stephen likes to have people that are playing in the squad and that are fresh. So, but I was surprised. It's obviously surprising when you don't see a player like that in the squad. It's a chance for Gavin to go there and obviously, stake his claims as number one.
There's a big debate ongoing about whether or not Ireland need to be more pragmatic and practical in their approach, or whether or not we actually need to begin the evolution of Irish football into something that's a bit more progressive. What's your take on it as somebody who has obviously come through the system in Ireland and has that experience of playing elite football in England as well?
You're talking in terms of, the performance on the pitch, or the players in the squad and where they're playing, or
and the style of play, essentially.
Yeah, listen, I think knowing Stephen myself, he wants us to play, as he said, and since he's first come in, attractive football, wants us, to get the crowd on their feet, wants us to be attacking. But he's also pragmatic as well. He'll know there's certain games where we aren't going to be able to play that way all the time. But I think you can't see over, if you take away the results and, look at the games that the team's been involved in. There's a lot of young lads coming through. There's a lot of lads that have come through from the 21s. That's how they played in the 21s. They're trying to, build that sort of identity playing in the first team. And there's been lots of instances where Ireland have been really good in games, really patient. They've played that more, I'd say, continental way, where they've kept hold of the ball. They're trying to build a goal rather than just going back to front. And at times it's been really enjoyable to watch. And unfortunately, early in the campaign, we just haven't got the rub of the green with some of the performances that probably deserve more. So yeah, listen, I think that there's been a call for years for us to try play a certain way and change up, and I think Stephen will do that. But I also think he'll be pragmatic and knowledgeable enough to know that he's not going to be able to do that all the time. He's a good manager. He knows what he's talking about. I know how meticulous he is from knowing him as a person. So he'll know that some days we won't be able to do that. But I think going forward, that'll be the mantra, and that'll be the identity that he'll want to put on the team and sort of change our way and make us play, that more expansive football.
All right, Stephen, enjoy the game tonight. Whatever happens, thanks a million for joining us. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Take care.